In the air to right center field. How about this for a homecoming? That is crushed. Oh, got deep to right field. Way out there and way. Second and one. Now the pitch to Alonso. Swing and a miss. He got it. Junior. Swing and a miss. 0-2 pitch coming. Swing.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM Media's Philadelphia Phillies pregame show. Tonight, I am one half of your host, Dylan Davis. You can check me out on Twitter at DylanJD98. And, of course, my faithful co-host to my right in his car. That's how dedicated he is right now. El Parcero Philly. Check him out on Twitter at Parcero Philly as the Phillies get ready to take on the Texas Rangers in Game 2 of a short two-game stand at Citizens Bank Park before those dirty, smelly, stinking Mets come back to town, Parcero. But Phillies got to take care of business tonight, man, because they did not do so last night in a 6-4 frustrating loss to those Rangers. So before we get into tonight's matchup, we got to go back and look at what went wrong last night. Dude, to me, it just feels like there's too many lifeless, lackluster, no energy type of performances so very early on in this season. That's what last night felt like to me, man. Like, you get down 2-0 early, Ranger lets up a first inning home run, you bounce back, get the crowd into it, put three on the board of your own, get the lead back, and then just nothing until the 8th inning again when JT's able to tack on a run. It's just like they tried to go on cruise control and it wasn't enough. What did you see last night?
No, I would definitely agree with you. I don't want to pin this loss too much on Ranger Suarez because obviously the first inning was not a great start. The 4th inning, you had an extra from a Jonah home run for the Texas Rangers, and he to me still looks solid overall. He obviously needs to get back into. He's not going to be that 150 ERA guy that we saw last year, but more so of a 250. I think that's something that we can realistically expect from Ranger Suarez. But I think the runs is really the concern. And when I looked at the bottom of the 7th inning, when you got Roman Quinn and Matt Vierling in scoring positions, and dude, you got Schwartz, Bohm, and Harper, you get a pop-up and 2 strikeouts. Like, that to me is like the prime situation for you to score. This is the Texas Rangers, and we like what they did over the offseason. It was really nice, but they were an 8-14 bunch going into last night. You give them that win, and this week does feel like last week where you got a big series at the end of the week against the New York Mets, and you just want to start off the week again off the right note. So, you know what, Dylan, maybe we get swept this week by the Rangers and then we win the series against the Mets. I will definitely take that because I am tired of losing to the Mets early on in the season.
Well, if losing tonight versus Texas means sweeping the Mets or even winning that series, I guess I'm all for it. But when we come into the season with such high expectations, and again, I'm not there yet. I'll get on the negativity train, on the worry train when it hits summertime and they're still playing this, unenergetic type of baseball, uninspiring type of baseball, and they're losing games they shouldn't. But very early on, it's annoying to watch. That's the best part. Frustrating is the word I've been using a lot with this Phillies team. And when you look at the lineup last night, and you go, they had 11 hits.
That's the crazy part.
A major flaw that I've been noticing early on, and again, I'm not the only one, is the Phillies are hitting the baseball. They're missing those timely hits. They're leaving way too many base runners on base in scoring position. They have far too many innings. Like you mentioned, the one last night, that wasn't second and third with 2 outs and someone couldn't get it done. That was runners on with no outs, with Schwarber, Bohm, Harper up, and you came away with zilch.
But look who stepped up in that inning. Roman Quinn and Matt Vierling.
Right.
You don't ever hear that.
Right, and then the big bats don't get done. That's another frustrating part. Didi Gregorius had 2 hits last night. Roman Quinn was on base twice last night. Matt Vierling had 2 hits last night. JT had 2 hits. Bohm had 2 hits. Reese doubled. Segura got on base. Everybody hit except for the 2 biggest pieces. The one dude that was on fire up in New York, and Schwarber had a rough night. And then Bryce. Again, it's hard to get on Bryce Harper. It really is, man. It's how I feel with like Joel Embiid. Like it's hard to like when you need to criticize, it's still hard. But watching his approach last night, especially with runners on, last night, Parcero, I remember there was another at bat. He had who was on base? Maybe Boehm. Somebody was on at second, and there was one out, right? Bryce comes up and swings at the first pitch at his knees and hits a dribbler up the middle. Yeah, it moves the runner to the third, but he's out. And, okay, 2 outs. That runner at third is no different with 2 outs than a runner on second with 2 outs. Mm-hmm. Because a ground ball don't get him in. A deep fly ball doesn't get him in. So Bryce didn't do his job. If there was no outs, Bryce did his job by moving the runner into scoring position. He does it in this time, and we needed Bryce Harper to step up in a key moment with a runner on in scoring position, and it just seemed like time after time again last night he wasn't able to do so.
Can I ask something, Dylan, about Bryce Harper? Do you feel at the plate he's one that's also doing a little bit too much? Because we know Bryce.
Most likely.
He's a power hit batter. I mean, we see the home run stats, and I just feel like at this moment in the season, those home runs are not going to come, and that's okay. But just find a way to get a hit, get on base, advance a runner, and I think that to me is what I just need right now for Bryson. So
100%. And like I said, the approach is the biggest thing with me right now. I know Bryce is aggressive. Bryce likes to get out early, but this year his percentage of swinging at the first pitch is astronomical. But then I watched last night. He comes up, Parcero in the one at bat. He swings at it first pitch, up and in. Right, not a great pitch to hit. Fouls it back. Then whatever, he strikes out the rest of the at-bat. Then the next at-bat comes up, and he lays off a changeup right down the pipe. Dude, I'm missing something here. Like, I get you get fooled. I get you get tied up. I get, it's not easy to hit 98, then see 86. I get all of it. But how does a fastball up at your chin look appealing, one at-bat, but then a changeup right down the middle? Nah, I'm going to lay off this one. The approach isn't making sense to me, man.
Yeah, it's a really good point. It's weird. It's definitely weird, especially someone as a decorated hitter as he is. I think for me, like you said, Bryce Harper will be fine. I think for me, the concern is the leadoff spot. I mean, I think Barkan last night put out that stat that right now combined between Gene Segura, Kyle Schwarber, and of course we had those couple games where you had JT Realmuto and Odubel leading off. There are 150 total combined as a batting average, and that's just obviously not get the job done. And it makes it so tough when you got a leadoff person not getting on base to start off the game or just start off the inning or whatever it may be. So I think that to me is more of a bigger of a concern. And we saw Schwarber get put back into the leadoff spot and hasn't looked that great either.
Right, and that was concerning because I liked what Joe did last night. I didn't expect Joe Girardi to make that much of a change last night, and he did, to his credit, move Schwarber's hot, move him up to the top of the lineup. He had it with just twice, losing Castellanos. Obviously, congratulations to Nick Castellanos and his wife and family for having a kid. And I'm sure we will be getting into this in a few minutes because he is back tonight. And then Odubel with the allergy thing, which I don't know how his allergies were so bad he couldn't play, but then he pinch hit in the 9th inning in a big spot.
I know that was so weird. Like,
I mean, make that make sense.
I mean, Dylan, I'll tell you what, allergies are absolutely nasty, and you can ask.
No, I get it. I have them.
Going through it, but I don't know. I don't understand. I never heard of an athlete actually not playing in a game over severe allergy. So I don't know what that was about. But it's weird how he's handled Odubel as well. Like there was the 2 games against Colorado where he looks really good, and then he on the last game he benches him for Roman Quinn. And I if we're gonna bring Odubel up here, just you gotta put him out there on a day-to-day basis, especially if he's contributing with the bat.
Yeah, first of all, let's talk about a name that should never wear Phillies pinstripes ever. Roman Quinn needs to stop playing. Did you? I'm assuming you saw his at bats last night, right?
Yeah. I mean, dude, he's all he can do is bunt. I mean, what else?
Are you sure? Because both times were unsuccessful, and then after he's unsuccessful the one at bat earlier in the game with a bunt, he pops it up in the 9th inning, leading off. We're only down 2. Getting Roman Quinn on with that speed would have been huge. He bunts one to the first baseman, dude. He is brutal to watch. However, let's get into tonight's game as the Phillies head in here. What are we now? 11-13, lost 2 straight since becoming 500. So let's see if they can turn things around tonight. Here is the lineup card for your Philadelphia Phillies. Another different look and major changes made by skipper Joe Girardi. Alec Boehm leads off tonight, Parcero, followed by Nick Castellanos in the 2-hole, Bryce Harper DHing in the 3-hole, Rhys Hoskins cleaning up at first base, JT Realmuto in the 5-hole catching, Kyle Schwarber in left field batting 6th, Gene Segura batting 7th at second base, Didi Gregorius batting 8th at shortstop, and then wrapping up the lineup, Matt Vierling in center with Wheels on the mound. We'll get to Wheels in a second, but this lineup is specifically the first 2 batters, much different look. What are your thoughts there?
Alec Boehm, I was really surprised seeing him leading off after yesterday. I mean, we saw what happened at the top of the 6th inning where he essentially has 2 errors in that inning, and he really screwed up Ranger Suarez. He was trying to go 6 deep, and that really put him in a tough spot with them not sure whether to go to second or first. And then, of course, the Marcus Semien run out, and he just has a bad throw from third base. He can't control a little bit. So, obviously, if you heard him in the presser after the game, he looked a little shooken up, and as expected. And we saw that earlier against the Mets in Citizens Bank Park. So, I'm really intrigued to see that Joe goes the next day and say, hey, youngster, I trust you. You're going to be fine. Let's get you to lead off here today. I think this is the first time in the majors he's led off, but dude, he is your hottest bat right now. So, I mean, I like the thought process there. I just thought that doing after his defensive woes yesterday was a little shocking. And Nick Castellanos, who, look, he didn't play yesterday, and I'm sure he's in good spirits. He just had a kid, and putting him at the second hole was definitely really interesting, to say the least. But the bottom of the rotation, something I'll be looking at. It's been up and down so far. I mean, yesterday you had Roman Quinn and Matt Vierling at the bottom there, and then there was some good, some bad with it. But overall, I like the creativity here with this lineup.
I don't mind it. It's almost an eyesore, if that makes sense. If it works, fantastic. But just seeing Boehm lead off, I get the rationale. It makes Castellanos has been your cleanup hitter all year. Wife goes in labor last night. Bring him back in. He's all of a sudden the 2-hole hitter. Again, don't hate it, but weird to look at. But I think the biggest thing, Parcero, is if you just take it on paper, there's nowhere to go. And that's why I need these guys to really start to click together. I've seen Schwarber go on a tear himself. I've seen Castellanos look really good this year. I've seen JT have a 3-hit game. Hoskins have a 3-hit game with 2 doubles. They haven't done it together. And when you talk about Nick Castellanos, who's behind him? Bryce Harper. Who's behind him? Rhys Hoskins, JT, Schwartz, even Boehm with Castellanos behind him. You can't go anywhere if you're the opposing team or pitcher. They have to start being productive as a unit, dude. And that's what I'm looking for tonight. The top to middle of this lineup, I'm looking to be productive tonight.
That middle of the lineup should eat tonight. And obviously, should is the key word there. But when you have Hoskins, Realmuto, and Schwarber, they should do some damage today. We'll see what happens.
I really hope so. So let's get to Wheeler on the mound tonight. He's been up and down so far this year. He's had a good start, a great start, and a terrible start so far. I believe he's only pitched in 3. I could be wrong there. He might have pitched in 4. But what are you expecting out of him tonight? How deep are you expecting him to go? Because that's been one knock on these Philly starters so far. By the way, quick little shout out. Bullpen has been amazing.
Yeah,
bullpen has been flat out amazing. Hats off to them. Hopefully they can continue that. The starters, however, the starters look great for 3 innings, and then the wheels fall off. So how deep do you think Zach Wheeler can go tonight?
I just want to see him build off, because I really thought that his last outing, it was really solid. And I do see Joe Girardi putting a little more trust in these starters. You're seeing them go a little bit deeper. You've seen that pitch count go up a little bit more. I believe Zach Wheeler in his last start went 86 to 90 pitches. I have to double check, but just keep it up. I mean, we saw the velocity go up a little bit. He's obviously trying to work that out. Coming into spring training a little late is definitely something that hindered him as well. But I like him in this outing as tonight. I didn't think Texas really did anything crazy last night. I mean, Jonah really had a great game. The catcher for the Texas Ranger, I think he had a single, a home run, and I think a walk. I'd have to double check, but I think tonight it should be a great outing for Zach Wheeler. And honestly, we didn't talk about it, but Wheels is going to go up against Martin Perez. He's been okay, nothing too spectacular for the Texas Rangers, and I expect this lineup to. This is an opportunity to tattoo a pitcher, so that I think this is going to be a great day for the Phils, both hitting and pitching.
All right, man. Well, I apologize for the short show here today, ladies and gentlemen, but we do have Phillies baseball in just about 20 minutes. And my mind is solely focused on the 76ers. So, Parcero,
Yeah,
I have to get your thoughts. There you go. The Sixers get a dub tonight in South Beach?
Oh man, it's a tough one, right? It's up to three things: Doc, the center, the combination of different centers, and of course the bench, whether it be Georges Niang or Matisse Thybulle. I'm gonna be out a little optimistic. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say that we're not gonna shoot 17% from the 3-point line. That
Yeah.
absolutely cannot happen. I think that Georges Niang and Danny Green get a couple more threes. And it's really just up to the center position at this point now. I mean, obviously we don't want to see DeAndre Jordan playing for 17 minutes, but the other options are not better. I mean, you got Paul Reed, who gets in foul trouble, especially against a solid center and Bam Adebayo. Paul Millsap's probably in the same boat as DeAndre Jordan. I know we all want to see Charles Bassey, but he's very inexperienced as well. So it's going to come down to the three tonight with Maxey, Harden, and Tobias. And let's make this easier coming back home, because to come back home down 0-2, it's a different story. You know that, Dylan.
Absolutely, dude. This is a huge one for the 76ers, but it's also a big one for the Fightins. So let's get into predictions there. Do the Phillies split this series with the Texas Rangers tonight?
I'm gonna say yeah, man. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 5-3 game. I think Wheels goes 6 strong here tonight. I think that middle of the lineup goes well. I think you'll see 6 hits combined from these three. We'll see who gets how many hits, but I think they're gonna be big here tonight. Let's get Martin Perez out after 3 innings. Let's do that, man.
Yeah, he hasn't looked too solid so far early on in this year. I agree. This Phillies team just has too much talent on paper. Their ace is on the bump. It's a hell of a nice night out in Philadelphia and South Jersey today. Hopefully the ball can be flying tonight in Citizens Bank Park. I'm going to go Phillies win. They lost 6-4 last night. I kind of like around that score, but it flipped. I'm going to go Phillies 7-3 tonight. I think Wheeler will give up 2. I think the bullpen will allow 1 in garbage time, and I think the Phillies bats come alive tonight in a big way, and I think they're going to need to. And again, if they do, hopefully we're correct, but they need to sustain that, man. This cannot just be. I've seen too many games this year where they explode for 7, 8, 9 runs, and the next night it's a no hitter, or the next night they're shut out 1-0, or the next night they score 2 runs. Like, they need to start to put hits and at bats together over game stretches, not just throughout 9 innings. It's a big key for me going forward. But yeah, man, that I think that's going to wrap up this Philadelphia Phillies DSM Media pregame show. Guys, check out my guy El Parcero on Twitter at ParceroPhilly. We're also streaming live to you on his YouTube channel as well. So please subscribe to that channel. You'll be able to find Parcero. Tell the people what you got going on right now with Hoy and Philly sports and everything.
Yeah, man. So we'll be doing game recaps. We're going to try to get both of them tonight, obviously Sixers and Phillies. But we'll keep you guys posted with the Phillies and Sixers for the rest of the week. Of course, the Union as well gear up for a late one on Saturday.
May have lost Parcero there. Not positive, everybody, but hold on. We'll get him right there. Guys, that is going to wrap up this DSM Media Philadelphia Phillies pregame show. You can check me out on Twitter at DylanJD98, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at DSM_media. The link tree is in our bio to take you to every social media platform we are available on. Go Phillies, go Sixers, and have a great night.